Good morning guys, this is your third year V again and welcome back for another Mythic Heroes video. So for today we're going to review the new hero Nephthys, and we'll see if she is helpful for beginner, mid player or end game player. So without further ado, let's go. And oh sorry, before that let me check our current schedule for the event. As you can see, we have Nephthys and another incoming hero on the 15th day. And right now Valhalla is already open, so we can get another tons of resources. That is perfect. After 8 days we will have the Halloween carnival, so there are a lot of events incoming. So let's go to Nephthys. So Nephthys is sister of Isis. Yep. And usually in the ancient times, Nephthys was representing the Lower Egypt. So let me just go back to her. All right, so she is actually a magical damager. Even though she has a supportive capability, according to her type, she is a magic damage dealer. So let's check her first skill, the ultimate. The Soul Cleanse. Nephthys targets the one enemy unit that has advanced the furthest into the ally side of the battlefield, suppress them for 4 seconds. During this time, she deals damage equal to 45%. So this is probably made to counter those heroes that charge towards our backline lineup, just like Susano or Marduk. So yeah, you can actually use this Nephthys to target those heroes that jumps to the backline, but very situational. I is all I can say. So at level 2, increase the damage dealt to 55%, increase at level 3, 65%, at level 4, increase the suppression time to 5 seconds. Okay, which is pretty good for heroes like Marduk, who is doing tons of damage, and also Lucifer. Okay. Aside from that, every time this damage is dealt, one piece of soul will fly out to heal one ally with the lowest current health. Okay, so a damage dealer with supportive capability with a healing effect, which is pretty nice. Next is Psychic Shock. One of her active skill, Nephthys projects a psychic wave directly in front of her. This wave shocks hit allies and Nephthys 3 times, recovering health equal to 75% of her attack each shock. If the wave hits an enemy, it shocks 3 times, dealing damage equal to 75% of her attack each shock. So another damage dealer with a little bit of healing capability. And well, okay, that is good. At level 2, additionally, each shock to an enemy reduce their attack by 5% for 5 seconds. Okay. Can be stocked to 3 times. That means 15% reduce attack. At level 3, increase the each shock's damage dealt to 80%. At level 4, increase each shock's health recovered to 80% of attack. So a little bit of supporting and debuff there. Not that great, I think, for a damage dealer. So next, Life Energy. Each time damage is dealt by Nephthys, a curse is applied to the target, which increase subsequent magical damage taken by 1%. Ooh, okay, this passive is good. At last, we've seen a good skill for Nephthys. So, the same time, this curse can stack up to 10%. Alright, this stacks cannot be dispersed and last the entire battle. So, this is probably a game changer for magical boss fights in, I forgot the name. Let's go there. The Trials of Ascension, the Afraid Den. So yeah, she can be one of the hero, the main five for Afraid Den. If you're looking to increase your damage more to Afraid Den, then probably you need to use Nephthys. So at level 2, increase the target's magical damage taken by 1.3% after each hit. This effect can stack to 15 times at level 3, and at level 4, increase the target's magical damage taken by 1.6% after each hit. So if we stack that to 15 times, that means 1.6, 16, 8, 24% magic damage taken. So 15%, 15 times stack, that's actually pretty good. And this definitely will work with other magical damage dealer in the team. So pretty good for a Freet Den boss. I approve Nephthys as one of the main 5 that you can use for a Freet Den now. Okay, this is pretty good. Okay, and if you're running some full magical team, you can use Nephthys as well for other boss fights. Like here in the Pantheon for Chronos. So yeah, you can also use Nephthys. Okay, so let's go back to her skill. Lastly, we have an active skill, Life and Death. So probably another supportive capability. Nephthys select 2 allies with the lowest current health and recovers their health with an amount equal to 180% of her attack. An equivalent amount of damage will also be dealt to enemies near the target. Okay, so damage plus healing capability. Increase the amount recovered dealt to 195% of attack. At level 3, increase to 210. At level 4, increase the number of ally targets to 3. Okay, so, well, if you have Nephthys in the early game, if you got a lot of copies in your free-to-play, got a lot of Nephthys copies, then yeah, you can utilize this Nephthys as your second main damager plus healer. You can actually already not utilize a healer because Nephthys can act as one. Alright, so she is pretty good for a Freet Den. For boss fight, for early game, yeah, you can use her, but other areas, I think she is lacking. She is only good for a Freet Den. Yeah, unfortunately. So let's check her weapon. So Canopic Bow. At the beginning of the battle, Nephthys' health bestowal increased by 20%. Within 30 seconds, this percentage will slowly be reduced until it is gone. Okay. So I've activated the life bestowal here. It doesn't actually say this on the skill list or the 4 list here, but probably it belongs to the psychic shock, an active skill. So at the start of the battle, she does this psychic shock, which gives damage or deal damage and healing. So probably it is connected to the life bestowal. So at 200, the initial boost for Nephthys health bestowal increased to 35%. At 300, the initial boost for Nephthys health bestowal increased to 50%. For every 1% of the initial health bestowal, increased Nephthys damage dealt by 1% at the end of the battle. So this is healing supporting capability, and at 400 it just adds damage to herself. So let's test out. Let me just show you how Nephthys works or does his attack.
I'll roll you in linen.
All right, as you can see at the start of their battle, she does this kind of wave, and she's doing some healing. So most probably that is the life bestowal, but it only affects the first one, the start of the battle. So let's try it again.
I'll roll you in.
Start of the battle, there's a wave, and there's also a health. So that is probably the life bestowal.
Pull you apart. Don't mind me.
All right, so as she is quite good at healing,
Come.
I would say. So she can be useful in the early game, and if you're planning to gain more resources in the early game, then yeah, go for Nephthys, because as you can see, Efreet then is the one that gives out the Stardust, which is pretty much what we need in the early game. So yeah, I would say Nephthys is a must for new players. Go for it. Go for Nephthys, guys. She is pretty good for early game to gain more damage. All right, so let's check out her other areas. So for Divinity skills, I've checked it out earlier. I think the optimal skills that you can use is this Immortality 1 Eterna, and then the Extraordinary. It gives out 15% until the end of the battle, which is good for a Preet then. And lastly, you can either use Savvy or the Chaotic Power for PvP and Supernova for PvP as well. So for boss fights, then go for Savvy. All the skills on the right side will be your perfect Divinity skills. All right, so equipment. So what are we looking for Nephthys? So Nephthys, I said that this is good for a free then boss fights, right? And well, she have healing capability. Then I would say for the new player early game, then you would go with this kind of rune, the water rune, for more healing capability. And I would add something like more tanking capability, or you can use this weapon right here, Stop of Shahur, for additional bonus damage to boss fights. And well, you can actually use whatever you want, but the Yazakani Magatama is also good for her for additional active skill, cooldown of the active skill. So yeah, those are the things that you can use. If you want her to be a main damager, then you can go with this rune right here, the air rune, or yeah, probably the air rune is good for her for additional damage and additional healing capability. The more cooldown reduction, the more healing you can get, and more damage as well. Okay, so that's it. What else for the antique? Well, whatever you have in here. Right now, I haven't completed, or I haven't made any good amount of progress for other antique, but we're slowly getting there. All right, as you can see, I have a lot of activated antiques already. All right, so I would probably rank her in boss fights for a feed, then one of the top tiers. But for other areas, she is on the lower side. Okay, so that's it for now, guys, and hope you've learned something. If you have other questions, concern, or if you have recommendations, suggestions, please leave it down in the comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts, guys. Okay, thank you very much. I'll see you again. Goodbye for now.